Atlanta Falcons 30, the Miami Dolphins 28. Tough loss. Tough loss. We again, second week in a row, lose to a last kick of the game field goal, and it doesn't get any easier. I'll be honest with you, I don't want to start the video on a downer, but I've already given up on the season. I don't believe that we're going to get anywhere. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. This is now 6 losses for us. We made the playoffs 2 years ago. We didn't make the playoffs last year, and we had 6 losses. I just think it's going to be an absolute mission from here. Now, we have the trade deadline coming up. There's a lot of discussion going on about that, and I will cover that in this video. But this team just leaves a lot to be desired. Let me start with the trade rumours. Let me start with the whole Deshaun Watson talk. And I don't want to be the person that, puts anything out there that isn't necessarily out there. Or, I don't want to start any beef or whatever. But I will talk about a topic if it is being spoken about. And the Deshaun Watson trade rumours are massive at the moment. And that's the kind of only thing going on with Miami in terms of trade talks. Is apparently the Dolphins, it came out the Dolphins are more likely to be sellers than buyers, or, on trade, well, before the trade deadline. I don't think Deshaun Watson alone solves this team. He makes this team a lot better, but I don't think that he solves the problems. Next year we've got a lot of money to spend in terms of cap space, in terms of free agency. I expect us to be really aggressive, but to be honest with you, I'm sitting there at the moment and I'm seeing the same thing week after week after week, which is being the same problem, and it's not the quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is not the player the Dolphins are going to need him to be. I don't expect him to be. No one ever did. Thanks for coming, Jacoby. You're not going to be the future of this team. You have earned your job as a backup somewhere, but it's not going to be at the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, I don't think you're going to get much if you trade him, so I would probably argue that that would probably be your best option in terms of a backup. So I wouldn't, in terms of that, trade him. Now you're looking at the quarterback, Deshaun Watson. Is he going to make the team better? Yes, of course he is. But we still have problems on defense, and we still have leadership problems. Now, Tua is a leader in himself, as is Mike Gesicki, there's a few people on the team that are. Some of them do it by leading by performances and, putting teams on their backs or carrying them or whatever. And Xavier Howard turned up today, and obviously he got the interception. That's a big leadership quality. That's what he does best, and he's getting his game from it. But I still think we need more experienced heads. I think we lost Carl Van Noy, and I think a lot of people massively underestimated the impact of that. And I think that we're paying the price for it now, which is crap. It sucks, but that's how it works. And I haven't got a problem with making mistakes as long as you learn from them. And what I really want to see the Dolphins do in the offseason, if you do or don't get Deshaun Watson, that's down to you, is I want to see leadership qualities coming in. Christian Wilkins is a fantastic leader. He's a great motivator. He's a great speaker. I can really feel people getting behind him. But has his play been as good as you maybe want it to be? Probably not. It's first round draft pick. You could probably say it hasn't worked out. Unfortunately, it's very gutting because I really like the guy. But that's a draft pick. If you're paying someone a lot of money, they have to be delivering. And I said the same thing last week at the Dolphins game in London. We have a lot of money sitting out last week in terms of Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, all these people sitting out injured, missing for various different reasons. It's a problem. The Dolphins need to move on from certain players. And as much as I love some of these players, and they've been it's my team, it's something I'm really passionate about, and these players I really want to do well, you've got to move on from them. Devontae Parker, I love him, but we haven't got the value out of him that we potentially need. So get rid and get someone in that potentially can do that job. Will Fuller, he hasn't done anything. He's done nothing for us all year. He's not going to get that massive contract. Now, if Deshaun Watson comes in, that could change. It would be a nice idea to get Deshaun Watson in sooner rather than later to maybe know what you've got. However, we don't know what the situation is. It's too unpredictable. I could go on for ages about that, and I'm just aware that I have spoken a lot about it. the Dolphins need to be better in certain areas, and leadership is a massive thing that's going to help that. Brian Flores seems like a really good leader. He can get pissed off and he can get annoyed and angry, which I personally would really, I would really respect and I would really get behind, because that's, it's emotion, it's genuine feelings, and that's something that I personally dig. That's my thing, but other players won't. I think that it's not a case of getting rid of B-Flow. It's not a case of doing anything like that, but what B-Flow did brilliantly last year was bring in some fantastic names that did the job. Something that you went, oh my God, we've got to play against Carl Van Noy. Oh my God, we've got to play against this. And I keep saying Carl Van Noy because he backed it up with performances and backed it up with leadership qualities. We've got a lot of money to spend next year, and I just want to make sure the Dolphins, and this is my main kind of worry and concern, is if you do go and get Deshaun Watson, which would be great. If you didn't, it's great because I still back Tua and I want him to succeed. But regardless, you have to spend the money correctly, and that's what I have a little bit of a worry about. You have to go and do more. The offensive line gives away way too many penalties. It cost us today. It cost us a lot. Tua had the two interceptions. I think it was the second one was shocking. Straight away after Xavier Howard has done his bit, Tua throws a pick. Got to learn to go down. You've got to learn to sometimes go, no, I cannot do anything here, and take the hit. It shows maturity, it shows character, something that Deshaun Watson, he would not do that. He would not throw that ball away. He would just take the hit and go, I'm going to make a big play on the next one. I'm going to make a big play on the next one. And I think that's what the Dolphins are missing. And it's not a quarterback thing. It's just individuals on the team. Because Tua can do his thing, as various people can. There were some really nice catches from some wide receivers today. The run game existed, which is brilliant to see. We still lost, so it's still not good enough, but we weren't one-dimensional, we weren't lethargic, we weren't predictable, but we still had the same problems. We're giving away stupid penalties on the offensive line and allowing them to run the ball at free will, pretty much. When I say run the ball, it's not always about just who's coming in the backfield. Is it Cordero Patterson who's just going to steamroll for everyone? No, it's also about catching the ball short and yards after the catch, because we cannot stop that. And they got first downs when they shouldn't have. We missed tackles. We got so many things wrong. And I just think the defense needs to step up a whole lot more. And maybe it's a bit predictable. And I think it is, because I think I've seen it for weeks and weeks and weeks. But look, this is a game that we probably should have won here today. We definitely should have won last week had we have had a full team in London. But next week we play against the Buffalo Bills. Now, that's a team that absolutely smashed Tua. Took him out of the game for 4 weeks, basically, for us, when we put him on IR for 3, plus to miss the entirety of the game against them. If they go and do the same thing again to him, we're at square one, and you may not get any value for Tua. I personally would, regardless of you trade for Deshaun Watson or don't, I would keep Tua around, because I think he could really learn, and I think his trade value will pick up. He won't obviously be a starting NFL quarterback for us, but for someone else he might be. That's what I would do, but it's just so infuriating that I sit here every single week and say the same thing over and over and over again, and we all do it, and it's all Dolphins fans, we all say the same thing, and we have a little bit of worry about that, because again, I think we've all accepted the season is gone. We don't own our own draft pick, so we might as well just go for it, because it means nothing to us if we deliberately went, yeah, we're going to tank because we can get a higher draft pick and maybe trade it off for a couple more. We don't own ours. We don't own ours at all. We might as well just absolutely go for it, see what happens. And let's be honest, if we do trade for Deshaun Watson, we won't be using it anyway, so let's just try and get better. We might as well put the effort in. I just want to see certain leadership qualities from now until the end of the season that it's something to build on. It's something to be proud of. And when we did tank for Tua or tank for whoever we wanted to, we were awful. But in the last 5 games of the season, the last 5, 6, 7 games of the season, we actually did some things really, really well. And it was really positive. And again, we came into last season, we were building off the back of that. And although we started with a loss, you knew at some point there was going to be that turning point. I want that turning point to be sooner rather than later. It's not going to be against Buffalo, not at all. But at some point, we are going to have to look at ourselves and go, look, what do we want to be as a team? What do we want to be as a franchise? And if we don't, I do fear for Coach B-Flow's job. And I hate to say that, because I really like him. I think he's going to be a really good coach in the NFL. But it's the not-for-long league. People are very unforgiving, and all the headlines are on Tua. And I mean, this is the first time I think Tua's had 4 TDs in a game. There's a lot of positives to take, but we still lost. You know, the season is over anyway, if you ask me. I'm still going to do these reviews and we're all still going to talk about it, but the season in terms of playoff hopes and winning the Super Bowl is gone. You know, that's long, long gone. We're one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL, and that's our fault. I don't care about it being our fault as long as we learn from it and we learn from our mistakes. That's what I'm absolutely fine with, because that's development, that's improvement, and that's something that we can all be passionate and proud of. But what I just don't want to see is what I've seen for the last 6 weeks, which is making the same old mistakes time and time and time again. And although we weren't one-dimensional today, we've been one-dimensional way too many times. And it needs to stop. And I've ranted on for 10 minutes now, and I've spoken about the trade rumours. I've spoken about everything I think I can talk about. The Dolphins are going to be okay moving forward. But again, you need to have that light bulb moment. That needs to be that click. And it needs to be sooner rather than later, because we have to build something towards, even if it is next season, just make ourselves feel good. Make people in free agency want to come and play for the Miami Dolphins, because right now, in terms of how everyone else in the league is looking at us, we suck, you know, and that's no one else's fault but our own. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. It's not quite a vlog, a passionate rant or whatever. It's just I think it's a reality check, and I'm fine with that as long as you learn from it. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Fins up the Chelsea, all sorts of stuff. But just need to do more. There's nothing else we can say. We just need to do more.